My name is Irtia Dincy Flores, and I am the Governor's Chief Diversity Officer. I am proud and happy to stand here today to announce an initiative by Governor Andrew Cuomo to bring talented young people into New York State government. True advancement is only achieved by providing real opportunities for young people. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Alfonso David, the Governor's Deputy Secretary for Civil Rights.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. I'd like to welcome you all to the Capitol and to this very exciting event. Governor Cuomo has called on us to expand opportunities for the state's next generation of leaders and to dedicate their lives to public service. We must develop new leaders with the expertise and training to confront increasingly complex policy issues. At the governor's direction, I, along with others in the executive chamber, have developed a new initiative with the Secretary of State, Cesar Perales, and his staff at the Department of State. We have created the Empire Fellows Program. It's a full-time leadership training program that will prepare talented and diverse professionals for careers as New York State policymakers. The program will provide exceptional professionals with firsthand experience working at the highest levels of New York State government. Today, we are lucky to have with us New York Secretary of State Cesar Perales, who was instrumental in developing this program. And the Secretary's dedication to cultivating new leaders, particularly leaders from traditionally underrepresented groups, is inspiring. And Secretary Perales has a long history in government and in civil rights. He has worked in the federal government under President Jimmy Carter as the deputy mayor for the city of New York under Mayor David Dinkins and as commissioner for the New York State Department of Social Services under Governor Mario Cuomo. Secretary Perales also founded the civil rights organization Latino Justice PRODEF, which he left last year when Governor Cuomo called upon him to serve as Secretary of State. Few people have had the opportunity to see how important decisions are reached, what kinds of people are the best at making government work, and just what skills are most important. And in his many years in public service, Secretary Perales has had that opportunity. And it is exciting to see how he has developed a program that will offer such opportunities to the next generation of New York's leaders. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Secretary of State, Cesar Perales, and invite him to tell you more about the governor's initiative on increasing diversity in state government.
Thank you. Alfonso, thank you very, very much. Just to give you the context, those of you who attended the State of the State message and were able to get the booklet saw that one of the announcements in that message was that the governor was creating a new New York Leaders Program. It's got two components. The first one is the one that I'm going to talk about today. It's called the Empire State Fellows Program. And the second is a student intern program in which we will be revitalizing the way interns are used, giving them a much better, stronger experience, and at the same time try to get them on a path to public service, to becoming part of our government. But today I have the pleasure of talking about the Empire State Fellows Program, which I think is not just a unique program, but it is something that I think when people learn about it in this country will begin to try to emulate it. It is got some very interesting parts. Let's see if I'm ready to go. What the program goals are to recruit the best and the brightest. And that gives me an opportunity to say something, not in my remarks, but the fact is that Alfonso is right. I have been around government on a number of occasions at different levels, state, city, and the federal government. And I've always attempted to talk to young people about they themselves devoting themselves to public service. I try to tell them how much satisfaction I've gotten from being in government. But it is often for naught. I'm not very successful in attracting young people to go into government, particularly minorities. And I think the reason is because there's a disconnect with what we do in government and young people. There's often the sense, I'm told, unless you know somebody at government, you can't get one of those jobs. Other people will say, well, you know, I just can't afford it. It's not worth it for me. So I've continued to struggle with this, and I was so excited when the governor said to me, see if you can develop a program that's going to address those challenges. So what we're trying to do is we're going to develop a highly selective 2-year public policy leadership program. And I mean highly selective. We're going to put out a broad net, try to attract as many applicants as possible, and we're going to choose at most 8 to 12 from all of the applicants that we get throughout the state. And they're going to get an opportunity to work directly under senior policymakers as assistants to them. And we've also developed a groundbreaking educational program with the Rockefeller Institute. The Rockefeller Institute is expert in New York State government, and they've worked with some of the governor's staff to develop a program that is tailored to teaching people all about government in as quickly as possible. We've also added a unique professional development experience. In fact, we're still in the throes of developing that. It'll include something like breakfasts with the lieutenant governor, who'll talk about regional economic plans. Maybe they'll get a chance to see Alfonso David tell them about the civil rights work that we do in government and how exciting that can be. And perhaps what makes this most unique is an opportunity to serve New York State after the fellowship. In other words, I've heard a lot about fellowships, but when they're over, you go home. What we want to do is to keep these people in government. So if you are a fellow who does well over the 2-year fellowship, you're going to get a job in our government. Let's talk for a moment about the professional placement. It's a full-time job working as an assistant to somebody. Maybe Irene Baker, the director of Cabinet Affairs, gets an assistant. This is somebody who's going to work very closely with a senior policymaker. Hopefully some cabinet members will be able to attract some of these fellows. And at the same time, since these fellows are going to be selected from a pool of people that have had experience in the professional world, they're going to bring their own experiences to actually add to our government during that period of time. And again, the unique curriculum I talked about excites me a great deal. It's, you know, people, and I've seen this throughout my career, come into government and don't know very much about government. They've been selected because they've perhaps excelled in something else. Well, we're going to see if we could figure out a way with the Rockefeller Institute to teach people about New York State government. How does the executive work with the legislative? What does the division of the budget really do? What does the governor's council office do? We think we can teach that, and it's going to begin with an intensive week-long kickoff at the Rockefeller Institute. Professional development. I mentioned a little bit about ideas about breakfast presentations, but you can all imagine how we can do this outside of a classroom situation. Taking people, for example, to meet with local government officials, letting them learn how local government works, and informal opportunities to interact with influential and diverse government professionals. Maybe we can have a coffee that IRTHIA will organize so we can have people meet each other and meet some of the folks in our government. And it's going to be different. And I think the reason I think it is most different is because we are offering people an opportunity to stay in government. We want to jumpstart your career in government. This is an opportunity for anybody who has an interest in government to send in an application and have us judge it. And we're going to judge it based on not just their education and on their business experience and professional experience, but we want to be persuaded that these are people who want to be in government, who want to be in public service, who want to make a difference in their lives. And we will have a panel of judges that the governor will appoint who will make these decisions. And ultimately, something I refer to indirectly, is we want a diverse group of policymakers. I think two things are happening in the state that are really affecting policymakers in the future. First of all, this is an increasingly complex government. We need people who are trained in government. You just can't walk in off the street. It used to be you could walk in off the political club. You can't do that anymore and have this and work well in government. You need people who are well trained. At the same time, we want a diverse group of people. We want to have a bench from which an appointing official, the governor, can say, look, it's not just white males, but we've got a diverse group of people from whom we can pick. And I think this is going to make that a possibility. So today what we're announcing is a call for applications. We're going to have on our website, which you can see right here, an ability for you to go on there and learn about how to submit an application, what's required. What's required, obviously, here is we want an advanced degree, but if you've got just a bachelor's degree, but you've got some good professional experience, you'll be considered. We want at least 3 years of professional experience. We're not looking for somebody who just graduated college. We want somebody who's already proven themselves as somebody that is successful in what they're doing. And we will, again, as I indicated, when we look at these people, when we examine them, when we hold our interviews, we're looking for demonstrated leadership potential, as well as a desire to devote themselves to public service. That's the NewYorkLeaders.com. That's the website. Let's all keep that in mind. The reporters who want more detail can go there. I'm excited about this. I hope I've communicated some of my own excitement about this. We will, on another occasion, be able to spend more time on the student intern program. It's something that we are developing, but today we're focused on the Empire State Fellows Program. I ran through that very quickly, didn't I? But I'm sure there are questions out there. Yes?
Rebecca Linsky, Albany Times Union. You said you want people with professional experience. How do you plan to draw away from what experience you already have to the fellowship program?
I think that I've met enough young people who are interested in government, who maybe don't know how to get into government. I think this governor in particular is going to attract young people. This is no longer the dysfunctional government that Albany was thought to be. This is an exciting place. We're making major difference. I think younger people know that. I think they're willing to give up their jobs as reporters and say, I'm going to see if I can make a difference in government. And I think we're going to get lots of applicants. Age range? No, we don't have an age range in mind. We do want to cultivate people that are going to devote years in government service. So we're not going to go for old guys like me. We want young people who are starting out in their career, who've shown potential in what they've been doing, and who now say, hey, I want to give government a try. This is exciting. This is an exciting government in Albany, and this is an opportunity for me to get in. I guess I've everybody here enthusiastic enough to spread the word? That's what we need. We want to see lots of applicants. We want to have the most successful leadership program in the country. Yes, sir. Well, we're doing this, as we often do things in this administration, without a great deal of money. What we've been doing for the last several months is keeping positions vacant in a number of departments. We know that there are departments that have kept those jobs vacant. When we are about to appoint the fellows, we're going to try to rationalize those positions, perhaps have them all pay the same amount of money. But we're going to be using vacant positions. That's how we're going to be able to pay people for 2 years.
Given the
Well, I mean, that's been the problem. I mean, you put your finger on the problem. That's why we have not had a great many applicants or young professionals banging down the door to come into government. Again, I think there's a change in the air. I think there's new respect for the government in Albany that's going to make a difference. I think we're going to try wherever possible in our outreach to try to communicate to people that this is an opportunity to make a difference, that your life can make a difference, that you can affect your friends and your neighbors and your community. And I think that if we do that, combined with the reputation that government is now developing under Governor Cuomo, I think we're going to be able to attract lots of people. With that, thank you very, very much.